Shalom, shalom, shalom. You already know what's going on. Your brother D the Messenger, man. And in all fairness, unsparing awareness, I know it ain't your fault you ain't been taught. And one thing I could tell you, the Most High never fail you, man. You see that? So we got bigger fish to fry, you and I. And we're gonna bring it out the scriptures. Let me get it all set up. Get it all set up. Cause there's some things that we gotta discuss. It's all about us, and there's some things we gotta discuss. God's laws regarding sex is in the text, and we gotta talk about it. Our people don't know anything about God's laws, right? And it's our job to teach them. You see that? So that's what we trying to do. So let's get into it without further ado. God's laws regarding sex is in the text by D the Messenger. Alright, are the commandments of God done away with? That's the first question we gotta ask. Right? Because when we think about his laws, think about the law of Moses, right? We automatically assume that it's the law of Moses. No, it's the law of the Lord. It's the law of God. And it was given by the hands of Moses. And his laws are not done away with, right? The commandments of God are not done away with according to the Bible. And we're going to get into that, right? We're going to get into the book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 3. And there's some things we need to see, right? Red letter is the authority in the Bible outside of thus saith the Lord. Red letter is the standard, right? That's where we could see the authority, right? That's where we can get the understanding so we can do the things that God wants us to do. Now, let's get into it. I remember I told y'all we were done with the Sefer. I had this in the tuck. It was already done. I should have brought it out first, right? But I think this is the last of those that's not in the KJV. So just follow along, right? This is all red letter, Matthew 15, 3 through 6. And let me just show you on the blue letter, there's red letters, right? Matthew 15, 3 through 6. You can see that it's red letters. So it's Christ speaking, right? And it's him teaching. And look at this, right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 3. He said, but he answered and said unto them, why do ye also transgress the commandment of Elohim by your tradition? Right? So he's checking somebody for not keeping the commandments, right? They're breaking the commandments. Why do ye also transgress the commandments of Elohim by your tradition? For Elohim commanded, saying, honor your father and your mother, and he that curses father or mother, let him die the death. But ye say, whosoever shall say to his father or mother, it is a gift, by whatsoever you might be profited by me, and honor not his father and his mother, he shall be free. Thus ye have made the commandment of Elohim of none effect by your tradition, right? And so what's happening here is Christ is asking them, why are you breaking God's commandments? The scriptures say honor your father and mother, right? You dishonor your father and mother and think you can give them a gift and you forgiven. But this is God's commandment, right? Not the commandment of man, but the commandment of God. So he's saying, thus have ye made the commandment of Elohim of none effect by your tradition. What we're seeing is that even now today, you see people dishonor their father and mother, and they'll try to, make it right by doing something nice. And this is Christ saying that that's you making the commandment of the Most High God of none effect by your tradition, right? So Christ taught the commandments. That's him here teaching them, no, like that's not the way to go. Honor your father and your mother, or you will die to death. Let him die to death. You see that? But ye say something different, right? And so that's what's going on here. Let's move on to verses 7 through 9. Same chapter, Matthew 15, 7 through 9. Ye hypocrites, well did Isaiah, or Yeshayahu, Isaiah prophesied of you, saying, this people draw nigh to me with their mouth and honors me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. You see that? And so this is Christ teaching that, the commandments are not done away with. You see that? And he's, basically reprimanding the brothers and sisters of this time because they teaching doctrines, the doctrines of men, the commandments of men, right? Let's look at this last verse. But in vain they do worship me, right? But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. So it's the commandment of men to alter the commandments of God. We see that's what's going on in Matthew 15. And you can look at that verses 3 through 6, 7 through 9. So basically Matthew 15, 3 through 9. You see that? And 3 through 9 is all red letter. All red letter. So that's Christ teaching the commandments. Let's go to some quick precepts, right? This is Isaiah 29 and 13. It says, wherefore Adonai said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men. So Christ was actually quoting Isaiah 29. You see that? Let's look at Psalms 119 and 115. Depart from me, ye evildoers, for I will guard the commandments of my Elohim. Right? And we see Christ doing that. We see Christ saying that. And that's what I'm saying, right? For those of us who want to feel like the commandments are done away with, I ain't dealing with that, man. Right? And we're going to get into the laws of God regarding sex in the text, but I just want to show you that these laws are not done away with, right? You see David said he was going to keep them. We see Christ checking them for not keeping them. And that's the type of time that we're both on. Let's go to the book of Matthew chapter 5, right? And this is also red letters, 5 and 18. Let's make sure it is in the KJV, in the blue letter, Matthew 5 and 18. See that? Red letter. And it don't get no better. You see that? Red letter don't get no better. It's Matthew 5 and 18. For amen, I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, 1 yard or 1 tittle shall in no wise pass from the Torah, till all be fulfilled. Right? And in the KJV, it's going to say law. But that word law is just exchange for Torah. See that? Law. But it really says Torah. We can get that in the Strongs real quick. Law is G. is G3550.
Strong's G3551. Namas. Namas.
Namas. Alright. And so you can see that law, right? Of any law whatsoever, a law or rule producing a state approved of God, by the observance of which is approved of God. A precept, you see that? Or injunction. So, it's basically what it means. But in the Sefer, it's going to say Torah, right? Which is what we know is what God law is, right? It's the first 5 books. And all of that is the history and the laws of the Most High God. Not of Moses, but of the Most High God, right? Let's jump to verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of the least commandments, whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Me, I want to be called great in the kingdom of heaven. You see that? And so I'm going to do them and I'm going to teach them to the best of my ability. And that's what I got going on. According to Christ, the law is not done away with, right? And you can see Matthew 5:18 and 19, where he addresses the people breaking the commandments. He also addressed the people teaching others to break the commandments. Matthew 15, he addresses people breaking the commandments and teaching doctrines of men. Versus Matthew 15, 3 through 6 and 7 through 9. Those are all the slides we just seen, basically. Here's a quick precept. Revelation 12 and 17. It says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which guard the commandments of Elohim and have the testimony of Yeshua HaMashiach. Right? See that? So you got to have both. The commandments of Elohim, of the Most High God, El Elyon, and the testimony of Yeshua HaMashiach. And we got another precept, Revelations 14 and 12. Here is the patience of the saints, of the Kodashim. Here are they that guard the commandments of Elohim and the faith of Yeshua HaMashiach. You see that? So we talking both. They that guard the commandments of God, of the Most High, and the faith of Yeshua HaMashiach. You see that? So that's what it's all about. That's why we got to get into God's laws regarding sex, and we're going to look at them in the text. You see that? And I try not to be long, but I try to be strong. I know that took a minute to even get here, but I want to show y'all that the law is not done away with, right? These laws are not done away with. If you look at the 10 commandments, those are the 10 that we still say we keep, right? But if you look at that 10, it's still some in there that we go against them, right? And I think that's why our country is so distraught, so divided, and so wicked, right? We've abandoned the laws of God. And the STD epidemic is so rampant because the God's laws regarding sex that's in the text have been abandoned, right? A lot of us don't even know them. Let's get into it. Law number 1. And let's go to the book of Exodus 22 and 16. It says, and if a man entices a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his woman. Right? Law number 2. And no, hold on. Before we leave law number 1, that means there should be no baby mamas, right? At all. Let's look at a more modern version. Exodus 22 and 16. And I think we're going to get that in the NLT. Exodus 22 and 16. In the NLT. Just so we clear, right? Because I know they say a lot of our people can't read. So let's make sure that we just bring it out in plain English. This is Exodus 22 and 16. It says, if a man seduces a virgin who is not engaged to anyone and has sex with her, he must pay the customary bride price and marry her. That means it ain't no baby mama, baby daddy shit, right? That means that, first of all, nobody's ever touched her. That's why she's a virgin. So this is every young girl who's a virgin, right? Any man that has sex with her and she ain't engaged to nobody, he got to marry her. That's his wife now, right? Not only do he got to pay the bride price, which would be, pay for the wedding and all of that kind of stuff, but he got to marry her. So it ain't no baby mama, baby daddy. Ain't no, oh, you pregnant by some nigga down the street. No, that's not how God operates, right? You have sex with that woman, she's your wife now. You see that? You take her virginity, she's your wife now. You see that? That's God law. So let's move on to law number 2, right? And you can honestly say with law number 1, it's all done, right? It's all fixed. You fix everything with that first law, right? No baby mama, baby daddy. No baby mama drama. It's just straight up wife, right? She's your wife now. Let's go to law number 2, right? Ye shall not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination, right? That's plain and simple and should be understandable, but let's look at it in plain English. Leviticus 18 and 22. Right? He says it's an abomination. You see that? Leviticus 18:22 in the NLT. Do not practice homosexuality, having sex with another man as with a woman. It is a detestable sin. Right? So it's illegal in Russia and certain parts of the world. Can't even do it. Law number 3. Neither shall you lie with any beast. Leviticus 18:23 and 24. Right? Neither shall you lie with any beast to defile yourself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. It is confusion. Defile not ye yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled, which I cast out before you. Right? That's law number 3. No bestiality. In case y'all don't know, that kind of porn is out there. That culture is out there. They had to make it illegal to have sex with sheeps in certain states and certain parts of the world because this is a real thing, right? God says no. Don't do it. That's law number 3. Law number 4. And it's coming from Leviticus 20, 11, and 12, right? Law number 4. And the man that lies with his father's woman has uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them, right? You can't mess with your daddy's wife, your daddy's woman. You can't do it. Law number 5. And if a man lies with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought confusion. Their blood shall be upon them, right? So no messing with your daughter-in-law, no messing with your wife's woman, right? They are off limits. My son's wife is off limits and my wife is off limits. You break those laws, God's breaking your jaws. And that's how that's going down. Law number 6 and 7. Let's get into it. Leviticus 20 and 13. Law number 6. And if a man takes a woman and her mother, it is wickedness. They shall be burnt with fire, both he and they, that there be no wickedness among you. So law number 6 is that a woman and her mother is off limits, right? You can't have her and her mama. That's against God's law. You break his law, you breaking your jaw, right? So leave that girl mama alone. That's something that we would brag about, right? Some brothers that's wicked like that, they'll brag about that. And the same thing with the sisters. Having a man and his daddy is something that is a cut, it's a flex, right? It's clout. But the God say don't do it, right? If a man takes a woman and her mother, it is wickedness. It's Leviticus 20, 13 and 14. Let's jump to Leviticus 20 and 17. This is law number 7. And if a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter, this is crazy. I'm going to start over. And if a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, and see her nakedness, and she sees his nakedness, it is a wicked thing, and they shall surely be cut off in the sight of their people. He has uncovered his sister's nakedness, he shall bear his iniquity. Right? So that's cutting all that out. All that the country bumpkin shit that's been going on, we know God is against it, right? God is against it. You got to control yourself, right? A man, his sisters, his father's daughter, which is your niece. So no nieces is out. No nieces and nephews, that's out. Let's get into law number 8. And this is something that we all need to address, because they made a song about it, the Red Light Special, TLC. People make jokes about it. You can walk through mud, but you can't fuck through blood. That's out. The Most High not dealing with that. Law number 8, Leviticus 20 and 18. And if a man shall lie with a woman having her sickness, and shall uncover her nakedness, he has discovered her fountain, and she has uncovered the fountain of her blood, and both of them shall be cut off from among their people. Now let's go look at this in plain English, because we can, those of us that can read, we see what it's saying, right? But some of us can't read, so let's go to plain English. Leviticus 20 and 18. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 18. And remember, this is coming out the first 5 books, which is the Torah, which is the law of God, right? It's the history of the world and the laws of the Most High God, from Genesis, Leviticus, Exodus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Those are the first 5 books. That's the Torah. Alright, so let's look at Leviticus 20 and 18 in plain English. If a man has sexual relations with a woman during her menstrual period, right, during her cycle, both of them must be cut off from the community, for together they have exposed the source of her blood flow. Right? That's out. The Lord ain't dealing with that. And so don't let her convince you to crash out, right? A lot of our sisters, they pursuing you so they can ruin you. So they want to destroy you, right? And a lot of our brothers is waking up to those facts, but this is something where you destroy yourself, right? She on her period, don't even do it. Alright? This is another elaboration. Leviticus 15, 23 and 24. It says, and if it be on her bed or on anything wherein she sits, when he touches it, he shall be unclean until the evening. And if any man lies with her at all, and her flowers be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days, and all the bed wherein he lies shall be unclean. So that's the blood. You see that? Leviticus 15, 23 and 24. Let's get it in plain English. 15, 23 and 24. And I hate I gotta do this, but if our people read on the 4th grade level, I think it's very necessary. Leviticus 23 and 24. Well, let's just read 19 for context. Whenever a woman has her menstrual period, she is unclean for 7 days. Jump down to 23 and 24. This includes her bed or any other object she has sat on. You will be unclean until the evening if you touch it. If a man has intercourse with her and her blood touches him, her menstrual impurity will be transmitted to him. He will remain unclean for 7 days, and any bed which he lies on will be unclean. You see that? So yeah, man, the blood is symbolic, it's spiritual. According to the Lord who gave you that blood, right? He telling you don't be around it, don't touch it, don't deal with it, right? Let's get into law number 9 out of the book of Leviticus again, 19 and 20. It says, and if you shall not uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister, excuse me, and you shall not uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister, nor of your father's sister, for he uncovers his near kin, right? That's your auntie, or on your mama's side or your daddy's side, right? Can't deal with your auntie. And if a man shall lie with his uncle's woman, he has uncovered his uncle's nakedness. They shall bear their sin. They shall die childless, right? That's important because that's a different consequence. If you mess with auntie, right? And if a man shall lie with his uncle's woman, he has uncovered his uncle's nakedness. They shall bear their sin. They shall die childless. So not just you who smashed your auntie, but your auntie gonna die without a child, according to the Lord. Right? So that's law number 9. Let's get to number 10. And I think this where it may end. Right? Because these 10, I got a song called 10 to Get You In. And it's basically the 10 commandments. But I wanted to give you 10 laws regarding sex out of the text. Right? And it's number 10. And I think after that, I'm going to let you spin. So, law number 10, Leviticus 20, 21, and 23. And if a man shall take his brother's woman, it is an unclean thing. He has uncovered his brother's nakedness. They shall be childless. Ye shall therefore guard all my statutes and all my judgments, and do them, that the land whither I bring you to dwell therein spew you not out. And ye shall not walk in the way, and you shall not walk in the manners of the nation which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them, right? Which means hate. I hate them. Therefore I hate them, right? In Leviticus 23 and 7, it says, thou shalt not abhor an Edomite. It's the same word, right? A lot of brothers say that don't mean hate. Nigga, it mean what it say, right? But basically, these are the 10 laws of sex. And it was right there in the text. And the Lord said that he hate these things, right? So don't break these things. And I know it might be acceptable to some of the peoples around us, but that's exactly what the Lord is telling you. And ye shall not walk in the manner of the nations, right? So that means come out of her, my people. Be separate. Don't do it because they say it's cool, right? I know a lot of these sisters going to apply pressure. They want dick on their period. But unfortunately, the Lord said don't do it, right? Let's get into Matthew chapter 5. Christ addressed marriage and sex in the text. It's Matthew chapter 5, verse 27 and 29. And ye have heard that it was said by them of old, ye shall not break the wedlock. But I say unto you that whosoever looks on a woman to lust after her has broken wedlock with her already in his heart. And if your right eye offends you, pluck it out and cast it from you. For it is profitable for you that one of your members should perish, and not that the whole body should be cast into the hellfire, or Gehenna in the Hebrew. So you see, well, that's Greek, excuse me. So you see, the Lord is telling you that, and if you look at that word wedlock, that's adultery. Just to even look at her. And the reason why he said that is because thou shalt not covet is a part of God's law. So for you to look at her and want her, you coveting her, right? Which is against God's law. You breaking the law. Christ trying to teach you the law, but you just not paying attention. All right, this precept from the 10 Commandments: ye shall not kill, ye shall not break wedlock. You see that? Ye shall not steal, ye shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Exodus 20:13 through 16. Let's get verse 17. Ye shall not lust after your neighbor's house. Ye shall not lust after your neighbor's woman. You see that? That's what Christ was saying in so many words. Ye shall not lust after your neighbor's woman, nor his maidservant, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is your neighbor's. So when you go back to this verse, now you understand why he said this. But I say unto you that whosoever looks on a woman to lust after her has broken wedlock already in his heart. You see that? That's because of the thou shalt not covet. You see? So that's Christ again teaching you the commandments. But if you don't know the whole Bible, you don't know that, right? If you don't know these verses, you don't know what he's saying in this verse. You assuming you know. Alright? It's Matthew 5:31. It has been said, whosoever shall put away his woman, let him give her a writing of divorcement. But I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his woman, saving for the cause of fornication, causes her to break wedlock. And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced, breaks wedlock. Breaking wedlock is a commandment out of the Torah. We just read that. So the whole time Christ is saying what he's saying, he's citing the laws of God. But if you don't read the laws of God, how do you know that? Right? All of this is summed up in covet and coveting. Anything that is not yours. Where is that? You see that? Leviticus 20:17. You shall not lust after your neighbor's house. You shall not lust after your neighbor's woman, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, right? Nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is your neighbor's. You see that? So that's what's going on, man. And this right here is about that first law. You see that? She go from a virgin to being your wife, and anything after that is adultery. You see that? So he's trying to keep you from doing that. And I'm trying to keep you from doing that. You see that? So that's what I got going on, man. Those are the laws of God regarding sex. It's right there in the text. And I ain't trying to scare you. I'm trying to prepare you. I know it ain't your fault you ain't been taught. So in all fairness, I'm spreading awareness. Shalom, shalom, shalom. I'm gone.